Hey, what's up guys, it's Unleashed here. Today, we're back with another video on Sonic Superstars. So yeah, it's been a bit of a dry period for this game in terms of news, so it's good to see that we have some more news for it in today's video. We have some new screenshots of the game and also some new details about the gameplay, so yeah, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's take a look at the news at hand. On to Game Informer with Sonic Rush. Actually, hang on, just before we carry on with the video. Something tells me that you're not subscribed. How do I know that, you ask? Well, look at this. Are you seeing that right now? Most of the people watching this video right now aren't subscribed. What's going on with that then, eh? Press that subscribe button right the hell now because, you know, just saying, Sega was telling me that if you don't subscribe right now, they ain't releasing that Unleashed port. Okay, they didn't actually say that, but come on man, you should still subscribe right now. You won't regret it. Trust me. Anyways, I'll stop bothering you now, so on with the video. So we start off with some sort of sky-looking area. So you can see the trees to the left there. That kind of reminds me of the Lost Hex in Silent Forest. You know those trees that have the kind of branches or whatever, even the checkerboard things too. Kind of reminds me of some Lost World stuff there, but obviously that's not a bad thing, but I'm just pointing it out. But yeah, we can see Sonic, you know, the way his position and whatnot, kind of floating or whatever. So I'm guessing some fans that is actually floating on right now. So that is good. We have some environment-specific gimmicks here, which I'm pretty happy about. Then we have another screenshot of that same sky-looking area, and this time we have Sonic hanging onto these that pole thing or whatever. And this kind of reminds me of the Studiopolis boss in Sonic Mania. You know how when Eggman pushes the wind up or whatever, when the weather changes, you have to grab onto the pole to stop going to the spikes. That is exactly what this reminds me of, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty good gimmick, I suppose. If there is one nitpick I have with the screenshot in particular, though, it's to do with the visuals, and for some reason, there's like a very weird white edge to some of these objects here. For example, that floating thing that's holding the bar, it looks very cheap in my opinion, that little white outline or whatever. And the same thing is on Sonic as well. That does not look natural at all. It looks very, very cheap. I don't know if the white outlines have actually been added in or if it's part of the lighting engine, but whatever it is, it does not look good in my opinion. It looks very, very cheap, as I said already. Right, next up we have Knuckles fighting a golden piggy bank, it seems, that's either spouting out rings or sucking them in. And I guess this is some sort of boss for whatever area this is supposed to be. I mean, I'm guessing a Bandicoot that big is going to be a boss, so yeah. It is nice to see some new Bandicoot designs, so I will say, especially in 3D too. It looks very nice. Right now, here we have a brand new zone, and now it's an Eggman theme one, I'm guessing, because you got the Eggman logo right there, and it's a greenish looking one, and honestly, this looks pretty darn cool. It kind of gives me some vibes to a Crash Bandicoot level or something, and honestly, yeah, it looks very, very nice. I like that we're getting some different color palettes for these zones because, yeah, it just makes it feel more fresh and original. So yeah, very good to see, man. Very nice looking zone right here. I do wonder if this is going to be the final zone of the game though, because Eggman themed. Maybe it isn't, I'm not too sure, but whatever it is, yeah, looks nice. Right, next up we have Amy in the Sky Zone once again, and this screenshot in particular gives me some vibes from Angel Island from Sonic Advance 1. It looks very, very similar to that with the colour and the design of these rock platforms or whatever. Maybe the two areas are connected or whatever, I'm not too sure, maybe it's just coincidence or whatever, but even still, it is nice to see a stage based on the sky. Like, that is very cool. I like the creativity here, it's very good. Right, then here we have Tails in a new zone. Yeah, good to see a lot of creativity here with the original zones. We know there are 12 zones in this game, so I feel like we've seen like half of them already, to be honest with you. I mean, we've seen Bridge Island, Speed Jungle, this one, the Eggman Land, or whatever you want to call it, and then you got the Sky one as well. That is actually that Carnival one as well, so that's 6 that we've seen already. Half the zones have been revealed. God damn, they're revealing a lot actually, my god. So next up we have another new zone, is this? I think it is. I mean, it doesn't look very similar to the other zones. Maybe it's a sky looking area or an Act 1 of the Eggman base looking thing, but it looks cool nevertheless. I mean, you got is that a vacuum elephant to the bottom left there? Then you got a green beetle or whatever, yeah, to the right. I hope it's not as annoying as the slicer enemies from Metropolis Zone though, because yeah, I don't like those enemies at all. I hate them. And then the final screenshot for now we'll take a look at is this one with Knuckles in a lava area. So we got some bee enemies, bee bots. Then we got some, are those golden flying penguins, are those? I don't know. And then there's a platform that Knuckles is standing on, an actual enemy or something. It looks like he has a head and a tail, right? And then the 4 legs with those white things. Yeah, interesting. And then from Tails channel right here, Upon closer inspection, the file name of these Sonic Superstars screen caps contain what appears to be an unannounced zone title, Golden Capital. So these 3 screenshots right here are all from the same zone, apparently called Golden Capital, so that is interesting. But now here's a tweet from Game Informer. Cover reveal. We visited Sonic Team's headquarters to play hours of Sonic Superstars and talk with key members of the development team. Read the cover story to learn why we can't wait for this new 2D adventure. See, a Game Informer, they're liking the game, which is very good, of course. Then we get this brand new art for Sonic Superstars, and my god, it is very nice looking, very nice looking. We get to see Amy with the main cast again, which is very nice, and you have Eggman in the background looking very disappointed or whatever, and I just Chaos Emerald just sat there chilling. No idea why it's there. I mean, Eggman could just go there and pick it up and whatnot, but whatever. But now it's time for the juicy stuff, because right here from Game Informer, preview, Sonic Superstars, exclusive look at every Emerald's power, and this is from Brian Shayer, the same person who was guessing with Sonic Frontiers last year, so good to see that he's back again. Now I won't read the entirety of this article because a lot of it is kind of irrelevant, so we'll just read the important parts. So starting off right here, each Chaos Emerald offers distinct Emerald powers, and all powers are available to each playable character. These powers are selected with the right stick and operate on a cooldown, with each Star Boss checkpoint replenishing your cooldown meter. Now that is good news, because the thing I was scared about with these powers is that you can kind of just spam them throughout the entire stage and you just blaze through them very easily, but it's good to see that they actually have a cooldown, so you have to replenish them at each checkpoint, so that's good, very good. The overarching idea for Emerald powers draws inspiration from the Wisp mechanic found in the modern series, starting with Sonic Colors. However, there is one key difference with Emerald's powers. In Colors, you need to use the Wisps in order to get around in the level and complete the game. But we didn't want that to be a part of the Superstars game, Iizuka says. We wanted the classic Sonic gameplay to still remain true, so when we were looking at the Emerald powers and the Wisps, we wanted to make sure that you could still beat Superstars without having to use any of the powers, which is what we needed to balance during game design. Now that's all good and dandy, but there is one hope I have for this game with the Emerald powers. So you know how in Sonic Mania and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, if you got the Emeralds, you actually get a secret ending with a new final boss? I think Sonic Superstars could do something different. Rather than just having a Supersonic final boss, why don't we have a brand new level? Where similar to the final level of Crash Bandicoot 4, we have to use every single power in one stage to actually get through it all. You could do the same thing there, but for Sonic with the Emerald powers. So you'd have this huge massive stage where you have to use every single power to get through it, and obviously that requires some thought and skill to get through it all perfectly. In my opinion, I think that could make for a very great final stage, because it wouldn't be forced upon you, it would be optional for a secret final stage, and in my opinion, yeah, that should definitely be a thing that exists. Now, will they do it? I don't think they will, because that requires some very genius game design, but maybe they could surprise me. Maybe, but you know, I highly doubt it, to be honest. Right, anyways, we have some more details on every single Emerald power in the game, so starting off with Avatar from the Blue Emerald. Avatar allows you to create clones of your character and send them speeding across the screen, defeating nearly any enemy in their path. This is particularly useful when outnumbered by bandits or overpowered by a challenging boss. In my experience with Avatar, saving it for a boss's final form is extremely wise. Avatar has the most visual impact of any of the ideas, Iizuka says. It calls them various avatars, you know, whether Sonics or the Tailses, are going to come in and defeat all the enemies when you use it. They can be used to get yourself out of trouble if you're about to die, just get past that enemy to make sure you're living longer. It's really one of the more fun Emerald powers to use. And then we got a new screenshot to go along with it, so yeah, we've seen this already before, just kills everything on screen, can be used to attack bosses, so yeah, nothing new here. Bullet. Red Emerald. Bullet allows you to blast your character in a specified direction. I find this helpful in both tricky platforming sequences as well as boss battles where your goal is just out of reach. Bullet, just as the name is being able to shoot or project Sonic in mid-air, Iizuka says. When you jump in mid-air using the Bullet Emerald power, you can stop and make a decision mid-air, what direction you want to launch yourself into, and then you can change the direction, or you can go in a different direction, or continue forward in that direction you want to go in, and shoot your character further in that direction. It's an extremely useful action. It's probably the most useful action for this kind of game. And then we got a new screenshot right here, and this seems like it's probably going to be in Golden Capital because Bullet looks like it's a very lava-esque thing, and yeah, we got some new jellyfish enemy there too, some purple bot thing, what the hell are those things? But yeah, Bullet sounds like it's going to be like the Laser Wisp, kind of, but you can control where you shoot it off whilst you're doing it, I think, from what I'm understanding here. I'm not too sure. I don't think it'll bounce off walls though, or will it? I don't know, it's kind of hard to understand what Iizuka's actually trying to say here. Though I do wonder, will this allow you to go through fire without taking damage? Because the bullet is a ball of fire, so I mean, that would make sense, right? Who knows? Water. Cyan Emerald. Using the Water Emerald power, characters can more easily traverse underwater areas and even climb up waterfalls. While not applicable in every zone, using this in appropriate places could yield amazing results. Water turns a player character into water, and once you're in that water form, you can swim up waterfalls, or if you land in water, you'll be able to run around freely in there, because you are water along with the water, Iizuka says. It does help out not only getting up waterfalls, but also when you're in these underwater areas. One thing to note is there are some levels that don't have water, so it's not going to be a really useful power everywhere. I sent another screenshot, so yeah. I'm guessing it's going to be like Sonic swimming like Mario, I'm guessing, when he has this power on. And then obviously in waterfalls you can just go up them, which is pretty cool. But I'm guessing they're going to have some more secrets on top of water section that you could be able to get through before, I'm guessing, with this water power. And if that's the case, then that's going to be pretty cool. I thought was going to make water areas a lot easier with this power, and either way, I guess it's kind of cool. But the question is, do you drown in this form? Surely if you're water, you're not going to drown, right? I mean, that kind of makes sense to me. I don't know. Maybe. We'll have to see. Ivy. Green Emerald. Ivy lets you grow vines from where your character stands to help you reach new areas. You can direct where they grow, and if you're playing co-op, your teammates can use your Ivy to reach new areas as well. Just like the name says, when you use the Ivy power, an Ivy vine is going to grow out of the ground to start growing upwards, Iizuka says. It allows you to get to higher places that maybe you couldn't just get to by jumping. But what's really interesting about it is using it in multiplayer mode. You can use the Ivy power to help your cooperative teammates get to the places that you can get to. And by using the Ivy, you can cooperate and get to places together. And here's another screenshot, so this is interesting, I will say. It's a very interesting power up. So you basically just go upwards vertically, and then people who are playing with you can climb on these leaves, I'm guessing, a platform along those possibly, and then climb up with you. I mean, with how vertical some Sonic games can actually get in 2D, yeah, this makes a lot of sense to have. I could definitely see it being very useful in multiplayer too, like Iizuka's obviously said here, because not all players are on the same skill level. So if you have this power up, obviously you have a person who is good at the game on the top path, and then have a person who's kind of crap at the game on the bottom path. Ivy power up just helps a lower person get up to the top, so yeah. Very useful power, I can definitely see that. Vision, Purple Emerald. As teased in an earlier trailer for Sonic Superstars, players can activate Vision whenever they have a sneaking suspicion that there might be something beyond what is currently visible. In a previous trailer, we saw Vision reveal hidden platforms and rings. Iizuka says his power will really play into the replayability aspect of the way these stages were designed. I really like Vision, Iizuka says. It allows you to see the unseeable or see things that you couldn't see without using the power. But using Vision, you noticed that before, where there wasn't a platform to jump on or rings to get, there's now a platform you can see and land on, and there are rings that you can jump and collect. It's really great for stage exploration, so even after you've gone through the game once, going back and playing again with Vision allows you to see places you didn't know existed before, and find these new areas and locations to get because you're using the Vision Emerald power. Since the Emerald power is built around seeing hidden objects in the environment, players might have a challenging time knowing when to use the power. However, the developers have already thought about this. Obviously, if you can't see it in the first place, you don't know to use it, Iizuka says. It's kind of making sure people understand how to use the powers. This is something that the team went in and said, you know, we really want to make sure people are aware of the times when they should be using something, especially if it's like Vision and you can't see it in the first place. So automatically, there'll be an indicator that pops up that will tell you, oh hey, if you use Vision right now, there may be something around here that you can find. This kind of auto indicator will pop up and let you know, or give you a good sense of when you should be using some of the Emerald powers. Then here we have another screenshot. So I hope with this indicator, whatever they're talking about right here, I hope they don't make it too obvious where to actually use the powers. Because the whole point of this power, from what I can tell, is the satisfaction of actually discovering something yourself. And if you're always just told where to use the power, it's going to kind of defeat the whole exploration part of the entire power up. So I hope they don't actually do that and keep it, you know, a bit more flexible for when you're actually supposed to use it and whatnot. Slow, Yellow Emerald. Slow, as the name implies, slows down everything on screen. This could be used for tricky boss battles or just difficult platforming sequences where you need more time to react. Slow is exactly what it says it is. It's going to slow down everything on the screen, Iizuka says. You enter this slow motion kind of moment, and because you're not moving in slow motion, you get to look at things that maybe are moving very fast and get a better sense of the timing of when you want to be reacting to traps, or if a boss is attacking, you can use slow, and you can slow the boss's attack down and really get more comfortable with how to strategically avoid or attack or action around these things that have been slowed down. It really slows down the game to allow you to play at a pace that's maybe more comfortable. Then once again, another screenshot. So this really just sounds like Time Break from Sonic the Secret Rings, and also the Red Gem in Sonic 06. Now the question is, does your character also slow down, or is this the environment around you? Because in 06 and Secret Rings, Sonic himself actually slowed down too, so if they're going to make Sonic not slow down, that's going to make it a lot easier, I reckon. So maybe they'll do that, I don't know. Or maybe it's like the parry in Frontiers actually, where everything slows down but you get to move at normal speed. I think that could, you know what, I think that's how they're going to do it actually. That makes a lot more sense, because even just looking at the slow power up right now, it kind of still has that same visual effect as the parry in Frontiers with all the yellow and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's going to be like Frontiers, you know. I think it's going to be like that. Extra, why Emerald? Though all Emerald powers are universal, the final unlock opens up a character-specific ability. All of the characters use the Emerald powers in the same way, and all of the Emerald powers react to the characters in the same way. But Extra is different and special in that depending on what character you're using, Extra allows a different kind of action for those specific characters, Izuku says. Because of this, you can choose what character you're going to play with, and when you use the Extra power, that power will be unique to that character. Sonic, homing attack. When the Extra Emerald power is active for Sonic, players can move one of modern Sonic's most iconic abilities to Classic Sonic's repertoire. Classic Sonic does not do the homing attack, but when he has Extra Emerald power active, Classic Sonic now has a homing attack, Izuku says. Amy, hammer throw. Amy's Extra Emerald power plays off one of her defining gameplay characteristics. For Amy, when she uses the Emerald power, she's able to throw her hammer and attack enemies by throwing the hammer instead of just hitting with the hammer. Knuckles, punch. Knuckles' use of the Extra Emerald power transforms perhaps his most defining visual characteristics into gameplay within the classic series. When active, the Red Echidna can add punches to his already largest set of abilities. Tails, Tornado Spin. When Tails uses Extra, he gains an ability called Tornado Spin. When I heard that name, I thought it could mean he spins really fast and whacks enemies with his twin tails, or maybe he summons his iconic plane to do something. However, it's neither of those. Tails will actually create a tornado, Izuku says. The tornado will follow the ground and just continue on that path and take out enemies in the way. Then we see a screenshot of Knuckles actually punching with his power. So yeah, these abilities seem alright, I suppose. I mean, I like the fact that Classic Sonic has a homing attack now because, it was in Generations, right, for the extra unlock power for Planet Wisp, so that's a pretty cool addition there. Then Amy's hammer throw is basically similar to her hammer throw in Sonic Origins with Super Amy, I'm guessing, because you can actually do that with Hyper... Oh wait, no, it's Hyper Amy, actually, not Super Amy, Hyper Amy. As then Knuckles is punching like SC would, I'm guessing, makes sense, and then Tails with this tornado, that sounds interesting. So we haven't actually seen anything like that before for Tails, it's basically just him using his tails, but Tails actually creates a tornado now, that's actually pretty cool. Now the question is, for things like Sonic's homing attack, how will that work with the gauge? Can you do one homing attack and then you have to wait till the next checkpoint, or is there a certain time window to use a homing attack and then it actually just stops altogether? Because if it's one homing attack and then you have to wait till the next checkpoint, that is going to be kinda useless in my opinion, but I mean, we'll have to see, right? We'll have to see. Super, complete collection. As with most games that include the Chaos Emeralds, once you collect all 7 of them, you gain access to the ability to turn into a super version of your character. Each character can turn super, and their movesets remain the same. For example, Tails is against superpower flickies as he did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Instead, each character turns invincible and becomes faster with rings depleting over time. What's going to be a little bit different is usually in the classic series, you get all 7 Chaos Emeralds and then, when you have a certain amount of rings and you're double jumping, you're automatically transformed into Super Sonic. But we're changing that up a little bit. Once you get all 7 Chaos Emeralds, you can still choose what power you want to be using, Izuku says. You can select from the selection wheel what emerald power you want to use at that specific time, not necessarily automatically turning into Super Sonic or Super Form. I think there's no screenshot for that, so I guess that kinda makes sense for the super things not actually giving you a new ability. Because if you had one of the abilities for Super Sonic and whatnot, that would kinda nullify the point of actually having that emerald power in the first place, so yeah, I think this is a good way to keep the emerald powers actually relevant to the game, even when you have Super Sonic. Anyways, that about does it for today's video. So yeah, we got details on some new emerald powers, obviously there being 10 of them. Then we got some screenshots of some new zones. So we got Sky Zone, a Golden Capital, a new Eggman base, and some sort of sewage pipe thing or whatever. I don't know what this actually is, but yeah, it all looks pretty interesting. These emerald powers really do have a lot of potential, and I hope they actually utilize them very well in the game. Because if not, then what really is the point of having them if they're not actually going to be used very well? So yeah, I hope they actually use them pretty well in the game. I hope they do. But what do you guys think of this news? Which emerald power are you most excited to be using? Let me know down below. Love to see what you guys have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, especially that last one. Don't forget to become unleashed. Pushing that join button down below. Remember, it's not necessary. And I will see you all next time. Peace!